3, 2,
Look, I don't want to.
Welcome back to the Dust Off the Mic podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell me more about your bad life decisions.
It's and they's such a bougie bitch. I really don't care.
The gulf between where you want to be and where you are
I wouldn't let her touch me.
is a lot smaller than you think.
You're just not ready for something. That's what that was.
We'll talk later.
I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed. Because I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted.
Oh my God.
You gotta
So I
take
was
the
like,
time
all right,
to
cool.
season it to marinate. You need the patience and the pressure to detonate. I'm trying to blow up.
Gloves are off.
Need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision. I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro. You know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah. Socks with the
You guys are newlyweds.
Indeed,
Yeah.
Let them know. When did you guys get married?
We just got married in September. It was a nice little private ceremony. 50 of our closest friends and family. It was pretty perfect.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Very cool. Were you a bridezilla?
Yes.
Like, what's up with these
No,
fucking napkins?
I was
kidding.
not. I was
Careful,
She's better than that.
Careful,
She's-
you gotta go
she's
home
a lot
with
better than that. You're a lot better than that.
I was a little bit of a doormat, but it was still pretty perfect, honestly.
I don't see that at all.
Yeah, my family's very loud. We're very Italian, so they had a lot of opinions.
Yeah, very opinionated.
Fair
and
enough.
I was like just really happy to be marrying him. So
Very
I was
good.
like, pretty much everything's okay as long as you find like there were like 6 things that I wouldn't budge on, and everything else didn't matter.
Fair enough. You gotta draw your lines.
Yeah.
Draw your lines.
Everything was falling in the right places anyway, so it was all good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, things almost never just fall into place.
Never, and you
always
never
fucking
hear about
chaos.
a wedding that falls into place either. But
Right.
it did.
He's lucky like that. Everything for him is just easy. It's
Oh,
like
so you just
insane.
kind of hopped onto the luck train.
Yeah.
That's
I,
cool.
I got the luck. I guess.
Remember me to bring you with me to the casino next time. I'm
Real.
down. Come on, man. Just rub X for good luck. Okay, so let's talk about your creative journey. You have recently had a book published.
Yeah, self-published.
The fictional thriller horror novel The Realtor.
Yeah, The Realtor, Demi's Misfortune. It's book 1 of 3 of the Realtor series. I've kind of always been really creative. I wanted to go into film and media, but that just wasn't something that was in the cards for me. I went to college for marketing for a little bit, but I always wanted to be an author. I was a big reader. My punishments used to be no reading,
Oh,
which was very, very lame.
now you take phones away from kids.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Used to be a book.
But yeah, mine was a book, and I always wanted to be an author. I used to write little short stories. My aunt, for my birthday every year, would give me like a book to write in. And then I kind of gave it up when I hit high school. Just a lot of stuff going on, work and everything. We got a house together and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that takes up a lot of
Nice.
time. Yeah.
And then I was at work, and I had a lot of free downtime, and I had this idea for a book that kind of like came to me in like a dream that I had talked to him about. He had ran some ideas, and I like couldn't put the idea down. But for a year, I just didn't write it. It was just like something that I was like, oh, that'd
You're
be kind of
visualizing.
cool. And then I sat down. We were with my cousins in Maryland at a coffee shop, and they had a New Year's Eve resolution board. And I was like, wouldn't it be so funny if I'll publish a book? And I wrote it down, and I took a picture of the sticky note, and then went to work, and I had some free time, was doing nothing. And I like found a manuscript like app, and I like wrote down my title, and then within like a week I had 40,000 words, the cover, everything.
Wow.
Yeah, everything was all done in a whole
Yeah.
week. So once
Came
you
to you
started,
quickly.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
And it was pretty crazy. And then I like searched to self-publish, and I was like, oh, this is probably something that's like so difficult. And it was like, no, just download your PDF and your cover art, and we will physically make your book. And I was like, okay.
Hold on, wait, what? That's
And
awesome.
I did it. I promoted a little bit on my social media and stuff, and by the second day I already had like 50 downloads,
That's awesome.
which was crazy. Shout out to him.
Thanks,
That's really
thanks.
the
It wasn't my book. I didn't write
You
it.
helped promote it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you got to work as a team, you know?
And then that was through Apple, and then somebody had told me online through like book groups that you can like self-publish on Amazon. And I was like, Amazon's on everything, so great. Went on Amazon to sell physical copies. I think so far I've sold like 15,
It's great.
which is pretty great. I feel
Yeah.
very accomplished. I'm like an actual published
So you're already
author.
in the green as far as selling books go.
Yeah.
'Cause it doesn't really like a lot of cost up front, no?
No, the thing that I typed it on was free, and then I haven't had to buy really any copies for myself. It's mainly like friends and family and like people that follow me that do it. So really, it's free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And why the horror genre? Why the horror thriller genre? Are you dark and twisted?
When my mom got married, she married my stepdad, and he was a big horror fan. They got married when I was like 6, 7 years old. And I remember he brought me, slept over there one night, was like getting to know him, whatever. They were going to get married. And he put on some horror movie.
You know the movie. You say it all the time.
I know.
It's on the tip of your tongue. You don't know it.
What's the movie?
I wish I knew it. It's on the tip of
Oh
my
shit!
tongue,
You don't know it either.
It's
You
on the
said
tip
it
of
like
my
you
tongue,
did
too.
now.
She says it all the time. I wish I
It was
did.
the Boogeyman. It was me and my cousin Kayla. His
Okay.
parents had a house at the beach, and we went to Blockbuster, which
Sweet.
I miss Blockbuster.
Sweet. Nice name drop.
And we were like 8, and he was like, pick out any movie, and I was like, oh, let's do this, The Boogeyman. Wish I hadn't. My cousin had nightmares for like years afterwards. But it really got me into like the horror genre. So I was like always watching Saw. He would take me to see horror movies and stuff.
Real quick, take the microphone and just put it a little bit more in front of you. Kind of like,
Hello.
well, if you're going to be looking at me, just put it like,
Oh.
you can move it, like just extend it
Open
out.
it.
It moves. You ain't going to hurt it.
Exciting.
Adjust it to your styling. Your
Perfect.
cool beans.
But yeah, I watched that. It was a little bit just fun, and then that was just something that we did. I like the idea of being able to mess with somebody's head. That probably sounds absolutely crazy.
It sounds very female typical.
Yeah, but having that power over somebody and make them not really, they have to do what you want. I
Yeah.
think that's like really interesting.
They are your slave. Pretty
Yeah.
much. Listen.
So this idea come to my head, and I just couldn't put it down. And like even couldn't put it down. It was just something that like needed to be out there.
Okay. Now I like how I know you were kind of like think tanking a lot of the names. Mm-hmm. How did you come up with Demi and Declan?
So Declan, I think, is like a really stuck up name.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted this character to be a Richie stuck up guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Snotty.
had like 3 names, and had everybody around me kind of like vote to what names they liked.
Okay.
And I just kept coming back to Declan. Like even I think another name had one. Could not tell you what it was.
Chandler.
Absolutely not.
Was Chandler like in the running?
I feel like it should have been. It's just
Okay.
one of those names, you know?
No, because then I think of Chandler Bing, and he's funny and like cool.
I don't know who that is.
Isn't that from
I don't
Friends?
know who anybody is.
Yeah, that was
I didn't watch
insane.
Friends.
Yeah,
I guess
it is
that's
Chandler
a
from
fan.
Friends?
I'm out of
Yeah.
the loop.
Okay,
I'm out of the
cool.
loop.
He's just not a stuck up guy. I feel like he's like the.
I'm
fun
not gonna
friend.
lie to you. I never saw Friends.
Good.
I know.
From what I understand, we're not missing anything. That's what I keep hearing. We're not missing anything.
You gotta watch The Office. That's where it's at.
Hmm.
Did you just? Well, it was really nice
I
talking to you
also-
guys. This has been Dust Off the Mic. I'm just
It's
kidding.
nice.
So okay, you formed this character, this rich, stuck up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for lack of a better word, psychopath.
Yeah.
And he is destined and obsessed with this main character, Demi.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the whole he's got to be like a rich, perfect, handsome, stuck up guy with all this nice trappings and this,
So I love the idea of serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
Law and Order and Criminal Minds, stuff like that are my favorite. And I recently watched Zac Efron in the Ted Bundy one, probably like a year or 2 when it came out. And the fact that Ted Bundy really was just like somebody that everybody wanted to date was like such a crazy thought to me. Like nobody felt like he was weird. Like nobody was like, no thank you.
It's always the pretty ones. It's always the pretty ones.
So I was like, honestly, like if I was going to write somebody that could keep women in his house for months and years and nobody like could go to dinner parties and like be like, yeah, there's somebody literally in this wall. He'd have to be like fantastic. He'd have to be handsome. He'd have to be rich. He'd have to like
like under the radar.
yeah,
kinda,
you wouldn't like
Never suspect it.
Yeah.
go to a random guy's house who was like semi-normal and had a drinking problem and be like,
Like you always
I know.
suspect the guy who looks like a guy who owns a van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy with the big thick glasses, the balding hair, and the
But the
Yeah.
guy that's like part of the community and like
Yeah.
gives to the community, you're not gonna look at him and be like, oh, he stalks women. He loves like
Yeah,
staring
you're not gonna
at her
check
in
that.
her
You're
diner.
not gonna check that guy's living room for false doors and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
When he
Okay.
says he's building a room, you're going to be like, well, he's a realtor. Of course he is. He
that's
wants
what
the
he
best
does.
for what he, yeah.
He's flipping the house.
Yeah, what do you mean? This is normal.
That's another thing. Why a realtor?
Great question. Great question.
I think realtors are very interesting. That was something that I wanted to do when I was younger. But I feel like they just have such an open schedule.
Okay.
And I feel like you would never question somebody knocking on your door and being like, oh, the house down here, like, is this for sale? Like, he could approach people, or like if he was staring at somebody's apartment, he could easily be like, I'm interested in purchasing this apartment building. Here's my card.
Plenty of reasons.
And nobody would be like, this is creepy. Like,
What a weirdo.
yeah, and like he would know the best places. He would know floor layouts that would like work in a house. Like if you're putting a secret room, your layout has to make sense.
Yeah.
It has to work for the room.
He's got access to blueprints.
Yeah.
He's probably
like,
got a lot of money on deck because he's a salesman.
contractors,
realtor, yep.
like,
Okay.
and he can sell himself.
Sure.
So I feel like realtors are also just great liars. Throw out to our realtor. Let me tell you what.
Oh, did you feel like your home buying purchase was a fisting as well?
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
felt like it was a little bit of a scam.
Any
Love our
home buying
house.
purchase is a
I gotta
fisting
tell you,
these days.
I've been in sales my entire adult life. I have never felt so fucked than when I was buying a house. You can ask my wife; she's in the next room. I was livid 90% of the time. I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, why do I have to give them money just because I'm maybe interested in it? I got to put in a
Possibly
fucking
interested.
offer.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we went through the FHA, which was even more. So that was even harder because you had to like,
More stuff.
oh, your Cash App from 4 years ago has a pizza emoji.
They wouldn't know
What
everything
does this
about it.
mean?
Everything.
And I was
Really?
like,
Where it came
obviously I
from.
ordered pizza.
They
What
went
do you
Cash
mean?
App deep on you.
They Cash App, Venmo,
Between
Zelle.
us, too. Between
yeah,
us.
like we had to explain like I
I'm
use
just sending money
emojis. Like
for
we
bills.
use personal things, like jokes, right? Like you're like, oh, ghosty, and they're like, what's a ghosty? And I'd be like, I bought a horror movie and I had to send him $4. Like,
Yeti, thanks for following.
but yeah, it was so dumb to think, and it'd be like $2 purchases, like
the
crazy.
smallest
Like
things, the most insignificant things.
my grandparents wanted to give us a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
And the process of getting that to be like validated. I mean, my granddad had to give up
A
a
handwritten note or
a
something
year
like that
worth
too?
of bank statements to prove
Yeah.
that he was like a real person.
Wow.
And he like actually like had a job and stuff.
Yeah. So the people who sell that ordeal and that experience, yeah, serial killer. I get it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Who wants
enough.
to do that on purpose? Right.
Does your old realtor know that you've literally written a novel series around hating realtors?
No, she is
and
so
nobody
nice.
tell her. Nobody tell her.
Yeah, nobody tell her. She is really nice. I just think
My realtor was great.
She's definitely
She was
watching
the,
this right now.
She was the only good part about my house purchase.
no, she was fine. I think she just definitely was more into the money aspect
sale.
than
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And I think I did 95% of the work.
If not
you know
95,
me.
100%,
I'm a type
because
A.
she did
I'm
it.
a type A. I found the house. I was scheduling the visits. She showed up and
Should have
got
scheduled
a,
the realtor.
Yeah,
And walked you through.
She got like a 10% commission on work that I did. Like I should have passed my realtor exam just to get the money.
Damn.
Yeah.
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 I like how you have a lot of like sales perspective in there as well. I think if you think tank some salespeople and get some like Gucci stuff that only
Yeah.
like people in sales would say.
The inside knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We can collaborate a little bit. I'd be like, nah, he wouldn't say that, but he would say this shit, especially if they're this way. Like the way he was describing the first customer. I don't want to spoil anything, but this is all within like
Yeah.
the first 10 pages. The first customer, I can specifically imagine. Ugh, this lady is just a
Yeah.
bitch. Like there's no pleasing her. You know what I mean? I get that real.
Yeah, it was fun rating him, and that was something that I wanted because I feel like you read most books and it's in one perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want people to almost like him. And I think I like him more than a lot of my female.
That's why you like you
writers.
so much, right?
I won't lie.
Yeah.
I kind of like him better than Demi.
Yeah,
In a
she's
weird
a
way?
little bit-
Wow.
Well, you start off the story with him,
Yeah,
and
of
you
course, yeah, I
you
get
shift
that, but,
between her mindset and his mindset, which I think is great, by the
Yeah.
way, because it's like in that you're reading the same moment from two different perspectives, and I love that.
Which was so hard. Can I just write? Like, I would be like, oh, he said this, and I have to scroll up like 50 pages. Like, what did he say? Like, let me make sure I'm getting this right.
Yeah, it's all got to line up. Okay, and how did you come up with Demi?
So I love Demi Moore.
Okay.
Let me just start there. I love Demi Moore. And when I was younger, all of my characters' last names would end with Wood. So her name is Demi Atwood.
Okay.
So, like, I was thinking, like, oh, Rosewood. Somehow Atwood just felt a little bit like somebody that I'd meet and I'd be like, oh, interesting name. I might remember you. But I like Demi. I think it's short. She might have a longer first name. I have no idea. I didn't go that far.
That's not part of the story, I guess.
Yeah. But I just really like Demi, and I felt like when I like write characters, I like to say their name out loud, which I probably sound like a psychopath, like washing, the dishes or cooking dinner and being like, Demi, whisper.
Yeah,
Like traumatizing. But yeah, like even like I'll like call like a friend, be like, oh, hey Declan, like how are you? Just to see if it would like actually flow. Like, is this somebody that I could see as a person?
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Demi Moore kind of helped. And then I really liked Lily for her name. But I was like, Lily Atwood feels a little bit too much like a flower.
Sounds like you're trying to make up the name almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
fake
Demi
name, fake
Atwood
name,
felt
fake
like
name.
somebody that could like walk into my job.
You're a Demi
Or, like,
Moore
I could
fan,
meet.
so you've seen The Substance.
I have not.
You should see it. It's crazy.
I was waiting for it to come out. I don't think it's on any streaming services
It's
yet.
definitely on. Honey, if you're watching this, message in what it's on. What did we watch it on the other day? It's definitely on something.
Because we tried to pirate it and it did not work
You don't need
well.
to. It's legitness now.
But
I
great.
think it's either on. Oh God, I'll find out.
But she won her first Oscar,
Yeah,
right?
either she was nominated or she won an award. But yeah, she did great.
But and I like who's the younger girl that played her? I can't remember her name. She was in The Maid. She's fantastic too.
I don't remember her name either, but yeah, she's cool.
But yeah, I like watching actors because like every time I write a book, I'm like, I know exactly who's gonna play these characters.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, you've already
like,
talked about who's going to play all the
oh my
characters in the
gosh,
book.
yeah, I have a whole cast fan list as if they're gonna like want to step down for my project from New Jersey.
They may. They may.
You never
With
know.
your
John,
with,
who's
with your
it?
debut
What is
on
it?
Dust Off the Mic, they may be lining up.
Maybe, who knows?
real.
But yeah, the guy from Quiet Place, John.
John Krasinski.
Yeah, love him. I
I don't
feel
know
like
how you
he'd
guys
be
remember
great.
these names.
That's
I don't
because I'm an
remember
Office fanatic.
That's crazy.
If you didn't notice Dwight in the corner
yeah.
looming
Yeah,
over you,
somewhere
make-
over here as well. I feel
that's
like
my
I'm in a tattoo
bodyguard.
shop.
If one of you decides to wig out, Dwight has my back.
He's gonna get up on you.
Yeah.
He's got the face on for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Real.
So the character development of Demi, like you kind of made her to be like Declan's culmination. You kind of made her to be like the masterpiece plan, and then it goes crazy wrong. I'm not going to spoil
she's human.
it.
She's just human, and I like the idea of even after he's done this so many times, and he lists how many times he does this, and he can make the plan. He could be like, "Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do." People are still human. Like you can stalk somebody for a whole 8 months and still not know about the big secrets.
Yeah.
And then he has to function on
Yeah.
that. And
He's got to
like,
pivot.
Yeah.
yeah, and having him pivot is very, very funny. I almost wanted him to have like some really hard breakdowns, but I was like, let me just.
I actually really enjoy the way you kind of surprised him as the character himself. He's like, how could she not tell me this? Like, because you've been fucking
she's
stalking her, you
yeah,
psycho.
right.
Your first conversation, you ran out on her. Like,
Big Deba said, I can't tell if she's Italian or Puerto Rican. Italian, right?
and Puerto Rican.
And Puerto Rican,
Oh,
both.
wow.
Snap.
That was nice.
Oh, shit.
That was nice.
Good call. Here, I'm going to put the chat up here so you guys can see who's
That was very
asking
impressive.
questions.
Wow, that's crazy.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't have most of my notifications set up because we have guests in the studio, as you guys can see, but feel free to ask our new author questions
Hello.
about her book, The Realtor. It's a horror thriller novel. If I can get my goddamn thing, there you go. So yeah, hopefully you guys can see that. I can see what they're doing too. But yeah, you like made her into this perfect thing. Like he's been through a few, women so far, victims, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he's like, everything about her is perfect. Sorry, that's a follow. Thanks for the follow.
Thanks for the follow, guys. Yeah, thank you.
I forgot to turn that notification off. So it's just going to sound like, what is it? What do they call that? The Chad?
Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah.
Or the Smolder, whatever the hell it's called. Handsome Squidward. God damn it, guys, stop.
Train of thought.
How did you pick the traits that would make his perfect victim?
I kind of based it off my cousin Ella, who is a big inspiration for the second book. She is nothing like these characters, but physically she's very much like these characters. I guess she's a little bit like her character that's in the second book. But I just wanted somebody that was very normal. So like, you know, a little bit of Me Too, the dark hair. She's a little bit like Italian. She's very pretty, dark eyes. Like somebody that you would see and be like, oh, she's very pretty, but
Everybody
also very
knows somebody
plain.
like this person. Everybody knows somebody like Demi.
And yeah, I just like my cousin is a little bit. She's like strong without vocally being strong, and I really appreciate that about her. And I wanted her to be kind. Like she helps out her friend at the diner where she like takes a shift, and that's where I feel like she ends up messing up because she talks to him, and it escalates everything that's been happening.
How's that her messing up? Just being customer service oriented.
Wrong person,
I
wrong
feel
time.
yeah, and that's not her messing up, but it's definitely like the catalyst to her getting grabbed, and it's like the worst possible time because all these things are happening in her life, and she just wants to be a kind person and ends up putting herself directly in a situation that like you didn't want. Like she's dealing with her own stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello from the living room. Oh, babe, what is my wife's on. Hi, honey. What is the Substance streaming on? With that movie with Demi Moore we were watching. What is that streaming on right now? They were trying to pirate it like naughty people. Okay, cool. So there's a lot of directions that you're gonna go with this. You said you're gonna kind of the next ones are gonna be more like origin story. Do you think you're gonna go first book origin and then culmination? What do you like?
So
what order?
in this book that I wrote, he mentions 3 women. There are only going to be 3 books, so one of the women is left out.
Okay.
So I'm not
She
sure if
sucks.
Yeah, she did suck. She must not have been into it.
So like there's a scene at the end where you meet somebody and they're in another book, and I feel like that's very interesting because maybe he's not so secretive.
Right.
And that's like, because he thinks he's like the greatest thing in
Yeah.
the world. He's like, oh, what do you mean? Nobody can catch me. Like, I get to do this. Like, even in the book where like there's a moment where he's like, could I get caught? He's like, no.
Never gonna happen.
That's
What
not
do you
gonna
mean?
happen. That's not
Like,
possible.
This guy seems
Like,
a
I'm
little delusional.
Declan.
The guy seems a little delusional.
Which was really fun to write delusional. Can I just say? I was very much enjoying that. Like,
Would you say it came easy?
yeah, I went.
Got her.
I got her.
But yeah, it was like Demi was a little bit harder because putting yourself like I've never been kidnapped, thank you. But writing from somebody who like pretty much wakes up in a room with like no escape and like watching her mentally deteriorate, like it was interesting to write about Stockholm syndrome and like research all that stuff. And let me just say, I was worried that my computer was going to call somebody at some point when I was searching.
SWAT's gonna come through your
Yeah,
window.
they're
like
gonna
how do
raid
you
us.
kill somebody?
Check the
like,
blueprints. Does she have any voided holes in the walls?
What are the best locks to keep somebody in a room?
Yeah. It's exciting.
How does two-way glass work?
How to get rid of a body? That's the
Yeah, best drugs to
into
put somebody in a coma.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, it was great. It was so fun.
I'm sure I can help you find the combination.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So you have a good plan for where this is going. Do you plan on writing any other series as well? Are you gonna stick with the horror?
I would love to stick with psychological thrillers. I think they're so fun. I don't really know. I haven't really thought about it just because I have the 3 books planned out, and I
Okay.
love Declan so much that I feel like when I'm done this, it's going to be very hard to just be like, put him on the shelf,
Declan,
leave him
yeah.
alone.
That's probably Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shh.
But
Don't listen to him. You keep talking.
I don't know. I feel like that would be interesting. Creating a new universe is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have to have, like I can visualize Lake Walden, the town that they live in, so vividly. I have drawn maps. Like, I know where everything is. And then I'm just gonna have to be like, yeah, goodbye, next one.
So just keep writing in that town.
There you go.
But I don't
Different
know.
people. Whole town full of serial killers.
What if every time the
no,
story
I'm-
ends, the town resets and it's a new fucking crazy
Oh my
thing?
gosh, is this Junji Ito
Time
Spiral?
travel is a lot.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking, hopefully so. Netflix calls you,
Yeah.
says, Shaye, we want to make this into a series.
Yeah.
Nice.
You have full, complete creative control. Who's your cast?
The girl from Yellow Jackets, Sophie.
Okay.
She plays young Natalie.
Okay.
Real.
She is, first off, stunning.
Fantastic.
But she is beautiful. She's blonde right now, but she is the most beautiful, like, dark hair, natural hair. I would love her to play Demi. I think her range is beautiful. I think she's great. Declan would be John, last name. Not gonna
Krasinski.
butcher it. Yeah. Love him. And then obviously, the infant. As long as it's not a Twilight Renesmee, I'm okay.
Right. As
Because
long as
that
a real
was-
baby,
that was
basically.
disgusting.
Needs to be a real baby.
For the next book, I don't know. It's either like I would want a cast that I know, or I would want all newbies.
Like
Because
completely fresh in the industry.
Yeah, because I'm fresh in the industry, so like I
Sure.
would want to give that handout. You know, maybe cast him, maybe not. I think I'd murder you if I saw you kiss somebody else.
A little Declan action.
On Netflix? We're on Netflix, though. I guess I'm getting murdered.
Stuff's going down.
But yeah, I just feel like that would be my dream cast. I think they would be great, mostly because I'd love to meet Sophie. I feel like, please. But yeah, just somebody very like normal. I don't want any crazy features. I know she's in a lot right now, so maybe like, but
No, but this is your dream cast.
Yeah.
She's got you have complete creative control. Her agents are urgent.
nonstop money.
Nonstop. Shay has the final say. Nope, we're Yellow Jacket season 3's fucked.
Yeah, sorry about your luck, Chicky.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So you'd mentioned Twilight. I'm assuming there's a lot about that. I'm assuming you read the books and weren't happy with the movies.
I did.
Renesmee was just, everybody knows about that
Yeah.
baby.
I try not to.
What about the baby?
It
Baby looked terrible.
Yeah, it was
looked
like
an
CGI.
alien
It
or
was
something
so
like that.
ugly.
It was
didn't
all
use a real
CGI.
baby. Yeah.
It was so.
And
Use a
somebody's
real
baby
baby.
wanted to be in Twilight. There's no reason you had to
They edited
CGI a baby,
over a
you know what I
baby.
mean? Like,
Like there was a baby. That's
Well, didn't
the
they trying to
worst
make it
part.
like more personality, like this baby's trying to figure you out kind of shit?
I think so because it was a vampire, supposed to be like extra intelligent
aging
or something
really
like
fast?
that.
So
But
like it was just ugly.
regardless, it was just ugly.
I got dragged through all of those movies, by the way. I
Really?
never read the books. It was an X. Go figure.
I went to each Thursday night showing at midnight. That
Oh,
was,
did you?
Yeah, my
Oh my
mom and I
God.
were big on it. But I try to keep movies and books separate.
Yeah.
So
as
like
you
if
should.
somebody's making a movie about it, like I like Harlan Coben. He is one of my favorite psychological thriller writers.
Okay.
He has a whole Netflix section of lemon
Okay.
series. They suck. They never follow the book to a T. The characters never look like how I have them visualized. I feel like he writes characters one way and he'll be like, they're dark hair, and then they come and they're like a ginger, and I'm like, I don't know where you.
Imagine that
Yeah,
happened
I
with
do even
Stephen
get that
King a
happen.
lot. He's like, this is how it was in the book, and then they just completely obliterate
And
it.
everything
Stephen King
around,
I
yeah.
love
Yeah.
as a writer, and I feel like most of his movies aren't that great. But like Pet Sematary, I feel like it could be better.
I don't remember
True.
Pet Cemetery, but
The
that movie
remake
could
was
have been
okay.
better.
They kind of threw you for a
They
loop.
switched it.
They
and
did, they
that
switched.
Frustrated me.
You know what? I was like, you know what? Cool. Good for you. Good for you not remaking the
Different.
same shit.
Right, it would be the same thing over and
Yeah,
over again.
good
Why
for
would we wanna
you.
watch the
Like
same
now it's a whole different angle.
Mm.
You can do whatever you want. You can make it your own, which is cool. I like that stuff.
But there's a game that I really love, Until Dawn, and they're making it into a movie. And this is where I get frustrated because I am very
She's so
frustrated
upset
with
with
it.
this.
I am.
She's so upset with this.
It's a story-based game where you make choices and you go on. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
It's on place. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. They decided to make a movie.
Okay, I
I
didn't
was
know that.
thrilled. I was so excited. It's my favorite game, and I was like, "How are they going to do it? Is it going to be like Black Mirror movie where they did like a choice on Netflix, and that was really cool, or like how are they going to follow a plot line?" They're not following the game at all.
Anything
Really?
about the original
At
story.
all. It is just people in a cabin, not on a mountain. There's no death of sisters that become, and there is literally maybe a Wendigo. Hasn't
It's
been
just
confirmed.
a slasher movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's like time travel. So they just reset in different genres of games, but they're using the fan base
yeah.
to get the views, and I hate that.
That's
Yeah.
everything. That's The Last of Us. That's Fallout. That's everything they're doing anymore.
Well, I think The Last of Us was pretty decent.
I think
And
The
it
Last of Us was
was.
fantastic.
I think The Last of Us was really good.
So was
But they did
Fallout.
stay very true
to the game.
to the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And
I heard the second one's going to be like entirely different, just because they want to do something different with Abby. I don't know.
and you know what they did? Halo? You seen Halo?
Have not.
I don't want to.
You know what? They took the Chief's head off. I mean, they took the Chief's mask off. So, like, right off the bat, most of my fellow Halo
Baptism.
nerds were like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Right.
It's like Master Chief walking around with no pants. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? But they really wanted to develop the internal character, and I get it, and it's actually kind of good. But yeah, you take that pretty personally, huh? When they fuck with one of your good
and
games.
I loved Until Dawn. Like I think I play it like once a year. It's something
Yeah,
that I
she's bought that
love.
like 3 different times.
I was like, I'm buying the PS5, not for him, not for any other games, but because they remastered it and
We're
they
about to
added
have
a
3 different copies of this one game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
If they hire him for a thing. I promise he'll do better than the people that you hired. I love that game. Like, I can't even express it. And they ruined it with the movie. So I really try to separate myself from the material versus the movie.
Fair
Because,
enough.
but it's hard when they try to get the
Any movies that you like better than the book?
There was one that I watched recently. Cannot remember the name. We were talking with my grandmom about it. It's like a kid that ends up he's like a space kid, and they teach these kids how to like kill these ants from another planet.
I know what you're talking about.
And he thinks it's a video game, but it's real, and he ends up like, and it's fantastic.
I don't know what that was called. That was good. Yeah, now we're all
know
sitting
it-
there
And
stumped.
I didn't like the book. The book didn't get me to cry like the movie did.
You're gonna be in the middle of saying something later on, and I'll be like,
Whoa, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
That's just how my brain works.
But I also love that actor, and I love
Okay.
But that was something that I watched the movie first, and then I read the book after, and I was like, I think the movie.
Ender's Game.
Yes.
It was indeed Ender's Game.
Ender's Game.
And I
I'm
think.
sorry.
No,
the
you're
past
good.
45 seconds that you were speaking, my brain was going, not this, something game. Sorry.
But yeah, I love that actor, and I think that movie was definitely better than the book.
Okay.
But also maybe because they just
Watched
added
the
a
movie
little bit of
first.
stuff, and like it was great. 50 Shades of Grey, I did like that more
Never
than
read
the
it.
book.
Saw the movie,
I
never
also
read it.
saw the movie and did not read it. That was a late night thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most 50 Shades of Grey viewings are pretty late night.
Yeah, if you get what I'm saying, yeah.
Hunger Games, loved the books, hated the movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Never read the books, love the movies.
I think the movies are great on their own.
If the
Compared-
books hadn't been a thing.
Because there were just details like in the first game, the mutts, they were supposed to look like the characters.
She's
so
been
like,
talking about this since the Hunger Game was released. ever since the movie was released, she's been talking about
they're
this.
first supposed to look like the people. So the eyes are supposed to be the people that they killed. The fur's supposed to be so like the ginger girl that died eating the berries. Like one of the foxes was supposed to pretty much have her face. But and I think they came out with these brown pit bull looking things, and I was like, what is this? In the last movie they have like these snake creatures, and I was like, oh, this is gonna look like Jackson from Teen Wolf. And then they didn't look like Jackson from Teen Wolf, and I was like, you have the material in front of you. Like, I know you guys had a budget, like you had a big budget, let's be real, and you came out with like that.
I love it. It's like I feel like I'm listening to a comedian whose joke got stolen. I really did. Like, and then he fucking butchered it. Dude. He didn't even say it right. I love that because you're an artist. I mean, whether you're painting, whether you're a musician, whether you're doing comedy or writing a book, it's art. It's your brain put onto physical material for others to consume.
Yeah.
And you take it seriously, which is awesome. I mean, where you said they used to punish you by taking your books away. What sparked the book interest?
My granddad and my grandma kind of raised me with my mom. My mom was a teen pregnancy, so she had me at 18, 19, and we lived with them for quite a little bit. And my granddad really loved raising an intellectual. I was, a little child in a house when he had already raised all his kids, so it was fun at this point.
Yeah.
And he would go to the library with me. He would have me read books. We'd go to story time. My mom would take me there. My grandma loved to read. So she would sit down and she'd have her Kindle and she'd be like reading. And that was just something that ended up happening. I was the kid like in first grade when the libraries were like throwing away books, and I'd get on the bus and I'd have like 2 trash bags full of books, and I'd be like, you can't throw them out. Nobody's read them yet. Like, so that was just a big thing. They loved to nurture it. And then it was just fun. Like, and I can visualize it. Like, I know there's people out there that can't visualize things in their head, which is tragic.
She's talking about me. Yeah.
He can't
She's talking
see
about
the
me right now.
apple. The apple's not red for him.
It's just the outline of an apple.
Crazy.
Or it's the color red. I can imagine the color red. I can't do them both together.
Really?
Yeah, really. Like, sure.
So I'm sorry. What do your thoughts look like then?
He doesn't have an
An
inner
outline?
voice. He
That's
doesn't have an
sketch.
inner voice. It's quiet.
Guided meditations
do
must
it.
suck for you. You ever tried a guided meditation?
I've never tried it
I
before.
want you to imagine you're approaching a lake, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can see the outline of the lake, and I can't even see it. I'm not even sure if I
It's
see
like
it in
a mirage.
3D. I just see a
It looks
map
like an
view.
amoeba from where I'm standing. I'm not relaxed. I'm sorry.
I'm on Google Maps. That's what.
That's
what I'm seeing.
fascinating because I'm a very visual thinker. When I tell Steve all the time, I tell Steve all the time, if it looks like I'm tracing off and I'm like not paying attention, I'm actually staring off into the void, creating the picture in my head.
Yeah.
Because I'm really trying to be there. Like if you're telling me an intense story, I want to be there. I want to see it. And your book does that pretty well.
Yeah. I like I said, when I was writing, it was a movie in my head. Like, there were no words, like, nothing. I was typing it out, and then I had to go back and be like, oh, I misspelled this. But, like, other than that, I was just writing pretty much like what people do with texts in movies, where they write down, like, crackling bag and stuff. That's all it was to me. But, yeah, I just really love visualizing things, and books did that to me better than movies did. Because I felt like when I was watching a movie, I'd be like, that character doesn't look right for this character. Or, like, somebody would be like, oh, her name's Sam. And I'd be like, she clearly looks like a charity. Like, what do you mean?
Who looks like a charity?
That's not her name. Her name is not
when you
Sam.
say the name charity, I imagine an Amish person.
Yeah.
That's where my brain
Or a
popped.
blonde.
I've met somebody named Charity, so I can only imagine one person named Charity. You know what I mean?
There you go. Suddenly he's imagining things.
Yeah, I can't really see your face. Can't
It's
really
a
see your
woman.
face too
Some
well.
bitch. Some bitch.
Some chick. Yeah, some other chick. That's the one I can imagine.
No domestic violence, please. This is a kid's show.
Expensive equipment.
But, like, movies and books, like, just didn't do anything. And then, like, my family was very like, oh, you were out until you saw the porch light, which I really appreciate having that childhood, because I know, like, my brother is 12 years younger than me, and he does not have that childhood, which is sad.
I'm 1 year older. I didn't have that childhood.
Crazy.
Sucks.
Yeah, playing with the neighborhood kids, couldn't imagine. But yeah, I would just, like, come in and we'd have dinner, and then instead of, like, we'd either, like, watch an episode of Three Stooges, or my granddad was really into old cowboy movies, which was not always my thing, so they'd be able to be like, oh, you can go read until, like, 9, and I'd be like, great, and I had my little stupid reading light that slid in the pages and, like, cranked. I look like a nerd. Like, I'm not gonna act like I would, but that was my thing, and I just was like, I could do this. Like, I could make a world.
You wouldn't have had it any other way.
No.
Yeah, that's like, it seems like you're very grateful for the childhood. It's not like somebody strapped you down and forced read you books and all that stuff. Like,
no.
you were into it. You accepted it.
They'd take me to bookstores. They were pretty great within, like, a reason.
Listen, you should be grateful, because in the 2 months I've had this show up and running, this is the second book that I've read. Second.
You want to tell them about
my
the
gosh.
only book that you've read?
The only book that I've read, we talked about it already, actually. The last book I read was The Hunger Games. It wasn't the only book that I read, but it was the last book that I read, and that was in middle school.
I mean, I've read some books. I read a lot of books in rehab, but like Fifth Agreement, all these self-help shit. I never really got into stories much. And then, believe it or not, one of my first few episodes was a friend of mine that I've known for like 20-something years. Stayed in touch, however infrequently it was, and he wrote a book called When Trees Become Walls. It was actually like a biography about his experience working at this like lumberjack youth camp, and it was wild. I got extra copies if you want to take a look at it.
Fantastic
so now
name.
I'm officially starting the Dust
right.
Off the Mic book club.
Nice.
Because now I've
need a
read more
shelf.
than one book. Yeah, well, I need
A
to.
bookshelf.
Well, we'll have a little link on my website and be like, yeah, the Dust Off the Mic approved book club. You know what I mean? It's like if anybody's got a cookbook, I'll start that segment up.
Nice.
So that's really
Start
cool.
cooking it in the background, get a little stove.
But I love this. This is one of my favorite things, is when people I know are doing, I mean, this is for our group, our generation, for anywhere between 25 to 35 years old, most of us aren't out there writing books. Most of us aren't out there, expressing themselves artistically. So anytime somebody wants to do that and wants to make it their thing, that's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I think somebody told me, because I'm in a few writing groups, that out of all the writers in the world, only 3% actually end up publishing or sharing their work.
Really?
And that's sad.
That checks out.
It's only out of writers, too.
It checks
Same
out.
Yeah.
as The rest of the people.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with a comedian friend a few months back, and I had recorded some stuff at one of his shows. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to use any of this. And I said, if you keep that mindset up, you're never going to post anything.
Post your content.
Yeah,
Yep.
like even if you think it sucks, like I told my buddy Slayer all the time, the things I think are the funniest sometimes do the worst online, and then vice versa. So just whatever it is, put it out. Same thing with books and thoughts and poems, whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
feel real bad for my followers, because all I do is post my book now.
So what?
I'm like, sorry.
Switched up content.
You want wedding content? No. Buy my book.
Well, they just ate up the wedding content, right?
Yeah.
How weird was that?
It was
Have
pretty
everybody watch us?
fun. Yeah. It was really
It
cool.
was interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
social media wedding.
Yeah, scary.
Well,
Had to make sure not to post where it was gonna be.
Well, you thought people were gonna crash it?
We were pretty
Yeah.
confident people were going to
People
try to
were,
crash it.
looking and stuff. Like,
Asking where it was and stuff. Somebody found out where it was, I think. They just didn't, like...
we had one of our
like, oh, we
wait
had the same
staff
place.
was like, had reached out and was like, you guys were so nice to serve. And I was like, what do you mean? And they like sent our venue. It's like, you got married on the state, right? I was like freaking out behind the bar. And I was like,
Yeah.
and I do
sorry.
appreciate that because they didn't come up to us at all. Like, they didn't ruin the evening in the slightest. But it was kind of crazy to know
Yeah, that
that
would've
there
been
was somebody
unprofessional.
there.
Yeah.
Forgive my ignorance.
Yeah.
You guys have a big social media? Like, it's a big social media following on TikTok, Instagram?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
How big are we talking?
He has 1.5, and I have million and 1.5 followers. That's it. And I have
shit.
about
Verify.
45,000.
Well, thank you guys so much for clouding down for me. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Holy
Thank
fuck.
you for having us.
I have, if you add up all my social media platforms together, I think I equal the amount of comments you get in one of your videos, maybe then. If you're
Probably.
1.5, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, thank you. This is very humbling.
you.
This is very humbling, yeah.
But yeah,
Alright.
it was definitely a weird experience because it was fun because I got to like share ideas and like go through my wedding planning. But there were also times where like people had opinions that were like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were not scared of expressing their opinions on the
Yeah.
internet.
That's the internet, man.
Yeah, that is the
Anytime there is
That is the
a
internet.
big veil between you and a fist, some people will just say whatever.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
it. Yeah, they can't do anything.
What,
you know?
if you don't mind saying, what's the worst shit people were saying?
Oh, a lot of people do not like my weight, which is okay. You don't have to. You're
Fuck
not
'em.
dating me.
Throw a dart at us. You can find something that somebody
Yeah.
won't like. You know, oh, he's got too many piercings. She doesn't match him. His hair color is like this. His skin color is like this.
Yeah,
it's
it was
all
a
types of
lot. Or like I got called a bridezilla a few times. Funny that you had mentioned that earlier because I wanted all my guests to wear black. I wanted a very classy. I didn't want like one person coming in something that was maybe too white or like a really obnoxious yellow. So I had all of our wedding party in like blues and greens. And then I was like, everybody else wear black. Like, you'll look
black.
great. And you
Just
have
black.
black. I was like, I know you have
Everybody's
black
got
in your-
black.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a black outfit.
And it literally looks stunning. Like, if you look at our photos, everybody looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's not very bridezilla-ish. It's like yelling at the caterers for the
Very
wrong
small.
colored napkins is
But
bridezilla
people
shit.
were upset. They were like, you can't tell people what to wear. And I was like,
People were upset that we did a cake
Bitch,
smash.
it's $200 a plate for you to come to my goddamn
Right,
wedding.
fact,
Fuck
fact,
you.
fact.
Put on a suit, make it black. Fuck you.
Yeah, I was like,
tank top that was black was
I was
acceptable,
literally,
you
I
know?
was like,
Like,
you guys
hey,
can wear
yeah,
a
right.
Hanes black T-shirt. I was like, I do not care.
As long as it
Like,
was
black's
black.
gonna look
as long
nice.
As it was black.
Oh.
Yeah,
Fair
it
enough.
was a lot. It was fun.
Okay.
And then yeah, people got mad that he did a cake smash on me, which we had
We
talked
both
about
did
prior.
a cake smash on each other as well.
Yeah,
so,
he
you know.
that
did
what you
me,
do?
and then I went
That's
and I was
exactly that's what you're supposed to do.
fun tradition, great tradition. But people were upset. They were like, "She's clearly upset. She clearly cried. You ruined her
We
makeup."
talked about it before. She was definitely not upset. She
I was like,
laughing
I
in the
do
video.
want it, and I was like, but if you get it anywhere but around my mouth, I will.
Yeah,
like I was
yeah.
like, you have a
My
designated
makeup is on
zone.
fleek. Don't fuck it up.
I was like, unless you're gonna send me the money for it.
Thank you.
People suck, man. Why? It is the ugly side of the coin of the same coin. You know what I mean? Like you do like having the following and when
And there
you do
are
stuff.
some really cool people. Like
Sure.
we've met some incredible people, and even in just daily life, like we went and we got matching wedding nails, which was so fun.
Dope.
And he dropped me off at the nail salon because he does his own. And for that, I was like, I'm too stressed. I'm gonna mess up something. Like, please take me somewhere. And the lady there, she was like just so excited. Like
Yeah.
she had him sit there. She was like, hold your hands out. Like I want to see. She was like trying.
Thing. Yeah,
Yeah, she
Nice.
was like, this is so great. Like she was like making sure everything was perfect for matching and stuff. And the photos look fantastic of me holding my bouquet with his hand around me. Like it looks incredible.
Wow. Interesting. I can't believe people were giving you shit.
They're unhappy.
Somebody's gonna be unhappy with you, no matter what you do.
And our photos look great. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
your day, your moment, your happiness. Like,
Yeah. Although I would never recommend my DJ. He sucked.
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
the
kind of a
worst
dickhead.
man.
how do you fuck being a DJ up?
By being him, I guess.
Yeah.
you have the wrong playlist?
He was so mean, first off. He was so
Basically.
and would
Just
be
talking
like,
about the playlist, nothing weird, but it's still 10 o'clock at
or
night.
he'd be
and-
like, yeah, like, are you guys excited?
I
for
was
your
thinking
wedding?
about playing Everybody Wang Chung at like midnight. Do you give a fuck?
Just
Okay.
like that. Just like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
just like that. Yeah. Just like that.
And I
Fucking
was like,
bastard.
It was
oh, I'm
crazy.
very classical. And he was like, I don't like classical. So I was
He's
like,
like,
I
that's
want...
just not the vibe. I'm not thinking that's the vibe for
It's
your
my
wedding.
wedding. I choose the vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
for my walk down the aisle, I was like, I want a classical piece. It definitely had lyrics. Which I was just walking, so I didn't even notice until we watched the wedding video, and I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
both
sorry,
of us were freaking
what?
out at the time, so nobody was in the mindset of being like, all right, stop the music. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, stop the music. We need
Stop.
to we need to restart. You go back over there. We need to
And
restart.
then
Yeah.
there was a family member that I did not want to give a speech, and I was very adamant. Provided him photos. I was like,
And
this.
he handed that mic right on over.
Oh my God, we were sitting down.
wanna give a speech? Here
Our
you go.
speech has been given, and we were like this. We had my granddad speak. He was wonderful. We had my best friend who knew both of us when we met at the Regal Theater. She was there with us speak. I had my maid of honor speak, and we had his dad. It was 4 people. I was like, that's plenty of speeches.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to hear more.
That's a lot.
And saunters up this person, and
Were they drunk?
no,
Ugh.
they might have been high.
Yeah, worse.
On the powder.
On something else.
Stuff.
Not
Oh,
even
on
the
something
fun
else.
little
stuff.
boog of sugar.
Not the acceptable stuff.
a
And
little boog of sugar.
got up there, and there are photos of our faces that are literally absolute panic.
Yeah.
Our
Can you send
entire
me those?
crowd, yes.
Can
our
I use that as a
entire
thumbnail?
Crowd was panicked. They were freaking out because everybody knew.
Because everybody
she was
knew.
Not
Everybody
supposed
knew.
to
As soon as she
speak.
got that microphone, I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh my
Somebody
God.
tried to get up and take it from her, and she was like, "Everybody," and I was like, "Oh." It ended up being a fine speech. She was okay.
Yeah, she was cool.
She said a little bit of things that were like,
Borderline.
but and then afterwards, our wedding was supposed to end at 9. It was like 8:15, and I was like, oh my gosh, he fricked up our last song. We had to dance to Mr. Brightside.
Frick that up. Which is a song about a dude cheating. Like, she's cheating. Like, literally,
literally.
she was cheating on him in that song. Like,
And it was we came out at 8:15, and
nobody
I
else
was
was
like,
there. I was like, fuck it. This could be the
yeah,
last
our
song.
wedding had
It was a good
ended. It
song,
ended
you
up
know?
great because everybody's waking up at 6. So like,
Sure.
so I was like, hey, I want to do our last dance. We want to get it with our videographer and our photographer. Can you just like skip the playlist and play it? And he was like, oh, I had already played your last song, but you can send me my tip.
45 minutes before he was supposed to leave.
You need to get in touch with Jews and find whoever they do for bar mitzvahs because those guys are on point and they
Oh,
won't
yeah.
hand over mic.
That beats.
The last thing you want is a
Wait.
willy-nilly mic handler
He
at a
had
Jewish
touched
wedding.
my breast area.
Yes, he
Yeah,
absolutely did, but
he
it wasn't. It was, at least tell the whole
He
story.
went-
You
so
know,
I was
he
about to do an
touched my
interview
breast area too.
With my videographer, and I
That
had
doesn't
a
make
very,
it right.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me
I'm
wrong.
sorry.
Don't
That
get me
doesn't
wrong.
make it okay.
The way she said it made it sound like he just walked
If a
up.
guy
and started
touched
like,
my chest, I'd be like,
He
all right,
did.
bro.
He did. I was supposed to get an interview, and you know, I was fixing my hair, and I was like, this is gonna be great because we did little mini interviews of everybody at the wedding, which was so touching.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh, honey, you're shifted," and like went to grab my dress and like move it, which. Saying the story does not make
Still
it better.
weird. Yes, still weird.
It was insane.
But it wasn't like he just
Nobody
walked up and
should
just
do
fucking
that to a
grabbed
bride. He did not know me. We had
Yeah.
never met before that day.
Yes, your facial expression is exactly.
I'd have knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
he
And she didn't
went-
tell me about this shit until
And
I
I was,
Good.
I
and
haven't
I was
seen
like,
him
"Do
since.
not touch
Good.
me."
Because you probably would have fucking.
I didn't tell him
yeah.
or my granddad because I was like, this man needs to finish this wedding.
And he
Like,
had to leave.
yeah. And then he went and he like, I wanted him to take his jacket off for his interview, so he was in his cute little vest. And
Cute
the
little
guy
vest,
was
like I'm a pet.
and
Like I'm a dog that she just dressed up for Halloween.
Have you seen the shit she writes? I don't know if you know what
guess so. I
situation
guess
you're in
I'm
right
gonna have
now.
a collar.
I would check your house for like moving book closets
yeah.
and shit.
he'd have to build it so we'd know. Let's be real. But yeah, he ended up like grabbing his tie and stuff and was like, "Oh no, you should put the jacket off." And I was like, as his wife, the jacket will stay off. Like, this is what.
Yeah, the dude was fucking crazy.
Yeah, he asked
was
for a
fucking
tip
weird.
like 3 times, and I was like, I'm not giving you a tip. I was like, you're lucky if I don't write a bad review. And then he left, and I did in fact write a bad review. And then I broke my ankle the next day, which was even.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like unneeded karma too. Unneeded.
It was
At least
so
it
Like, you
wasn't
didn't
the day
deserve
before.
that.
If it was the
so
day before,
crazy.
it would have sucked. I mean,
Yeah, I was
sucked
glad it was
one way or another,
after.
but-
It was a great test on him.
Definitely
Wanted
wouldn't have
see what
noticed
he'd
the
do.
voices walking down the aisle at that point. You've been like hobbling and shit.
Just
Yeah.
whispering.
But
Okay.
it was great.
But you guys got through it. It worked out. And honeymoon, how'd that go?
We actually stayed home.
Okay.
Yeah,
Part
I mean,
one
we
out of
just
2
bought our
honeymoon.
house
Later on.
so
Later
it didn't
on.
make
Okay.
sense.
Where's the part 2 gonna happen?
We
We're
talked
very
about it.
debated.
Jamaica, Florida. I said Hawaii, but that was more of a joke.
I want to be in the mountains.
Well, yeah.
I love cool. I love a hot tub. I love beautiful views. Not really beach people. He does have family in Jamaica though, so if we were gonna go
And
anywhere,
that would be
we'd
cool. Jamaica's
probably-
cool one way or another, even if you don't like the beach. You know
And he's
what I mean?
got family
I've
there.
been
Y'all wouldn't even
twice,
have to.
So
Cheaper.
Jamaica's kind of
Cheaper,
like I've
yeah.
done it.
I'm doing a
never
Florida
been
trip,
once.
and I got, I mean, Jewish. I mean, there's nothing but Jews in Florida.
Really?
I can literally be like, I need a place to stay, and they'll be like, come here, I got you.
That's crazy.
We're staying at our at my aunt's house in May, I think. Yeah, so that should be fun. Nice. Well, what do you think the hardest part about writing this book was?
So
Starting.
It was starting, yeah. Because I had wrote the title and the characters back in like July, and then I just didn't touch it until February. But the book came so easily. The second one sucks. Let me just say that I am having it's a different experience. It is. I don't know if it's because I had the other one in my head like a movie because I thought about it so much, but the amount of planning that I've had to do for the second one is not at all like the first one.
Well, then I think you should try and approach it from the same way. Take your time with it.
Just think about it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
Just thought
listen,
about- thought
the
about getting a
first one
storyboard.
just came out. You
Yeah.
gotta keep them wanting more.
Give
You know
them
what
a
I mean? You know what I mean? You don't do all 3 seasons of Yellow Jackets right up front. You do the first one, and then you make them wait.
I definitely wait and binge.
Yeah, same. But there's plenty of people that just grab them all in one shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's good. I think you have a really good like visual compass as far as like trying to get people to really like be there, be present.
Yeah.
I can almost feel the filter that you're like, it's like a very like dark blue filter, you know what I mean? And kind of how like they made the Matrix with a green filter. Like I can almost
Gotcha.
get the vibe from it.
Huh.
You know. Were you trying that? Were you trying to set the tone in a certain like
I definitely when I'm doing the covers and stuff, I definitely feel like I feel that like hazy kind of gloomy feeling to it. And I do think it'd be very cool kind of like, what is it, the mist coloring? Where everything looks very like through fog. I feel like that is definitely how I see it and how I wanted to set it up.
And the town, what was the town called again?
Lake Walden.
Lake Walden.
Yeah.
Is that a real place?
It is not. I made it up.
Cool.
Yeah. It might be.
And when you close your eyes and imagine Lake Walden, what does it look like?
An outline of a lake. No,
Not you.
no.
It's
Not
a
you.
very it's a
Thanks,
very
buddy.
cute town. There's a main street with a lot of like small businesses. It's very like people stay there and they live there with their families. Like generations on generations of people live there. It's becoming a little bit more like bigger homes, kind of. There's vacation homes on the lake and stuff, but
So it's
most
very
of the
like
town-
Ozarky.
Yeah.
Very like everybody riding boats around, and some parts are super nice and plush, and other parts are like people in
the lake is
trailers.
pretty quiet. People
Okay.
don't like do that. Like there's vacation homes, but there's not like the boating and stuff because the lake is his graveyard. So I couldn't have it be that busy.
Burial
Because could you
grounds.
imagine like partying with your beer and like looking over and there's just a man tying concrete blocks to a woman tossing her in?
Easier than you think. I can imagine that. Easier than you think. Slayer, man, what's up, buddy? This is my buddy Slay Cozy Entertainment. He's the
Go on,
reason.
Slayer.
He's the reason why the stream does not look like shit.
Nice.
Studio looks sick. Thank you, man. That's my town, except no lake. It's Jersey every day.
Real. It is similar to the town that I grew up in.
And where'd you grow up? Trying to keep it low key.
No, I'm just not really proud of it. No, I am.
Well,
I
it's a
grew
fact.
up in Franklinville.
Okay.
Yeah, Delsey Knights. Woo.
What's wrong with Frankenville?
What is wrong with that?
It's just very nosy.
It's very nosy.
Yeah, I feel like everybody kind of talks. You kind of like...
But did anybody kidnap you and bring you into a room, force you to stay there for years on end?
No.
Okay, so
Good,
Franklinville's
good.
not that bad.
They
Okay.
also don't have a lake.
Well,
So maybe I just got lucky.
aren't you right near the Rancocas though?
Right next to the Malaga
The
Lake.
who?
The Rancocas River.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I'm not a geography person.
Our Franklinville is the same. He has a friend. He's in PA.
Really? Yeah.
He's in such a remote part of Pennsylvania that he doesn't actually believe in advertising online. He wants to get a billboard.
Whoa.
He thinks that's going to
How
be the
much
better.
do your
Old-fashioned.
billboards cost?
Well, there
I
you
would
go.
love a billboard. I think that could
For
be
a small
so fun.
town, that could definitely work.
That's what I like.
Yeah, for a
The way
small
he
town.
explains it, it makes perfect
It makes
sense.
a lot more sense.
A
People
cup of fruit
in your
billboard?
town.
He said cheap.
Cup of fruit.
That's a cheap investment. There you go. Now, did you you had mentioned you were looking into like microphones and stuff. Were you going to start doing like some sort of podcast sit down?
Well, me personally, I want to do audiobooks.
I thought
Okay.
you were about to say audiobooks too. I can't see why she wouldn't make her own book into her own audiobook.
I
She
would
got the
love
voice
to.
for it, right?
Whoa.
What?
I don't know who I would get to be the guy, and I do feel like I would giggle all the time. But I would love to do an audiobook, and I'm sure it would be cheaper with me actually doing it on my own than like paying a company.
I mean, it wouldn't be super difficult. I mean, if you have one of these, it's an audio interface, and get yourself a decent microphone. You can just record it all in one shot, edit it as you need, cut and paste. I was just about to ask that. Is it on audiobook? I'm illiterate as fuck.
Amazon will automatically read it to you with Alexa voice, but it is not emotionally like sounding. Let me say that.
I'm gonna repost those links for the book there, Bubba, if I can. If
Yeah,
I can.
I would love it to be an audiobook that has just. I also we have a friend of ours that is in Puerto Rico, who tried to read it, but it doesn't translate well, so she has to translate as she reads, and I do feel really bad about that
Huh.
because I didn't even think about the fact that it doesn't like.
I feel like that wouldn't be hard to run through like an AI.
Yeah, but then how do I know it's doing the grammar right? Like I could write like, oh, he stares at her, and it'll be like he smacked her.
I don't
like-
think those
Probably
two words
no.
are the same in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so I can't speak to it. Slayer, is that a thing? Like, is there a software we can run her voice through and make sure like it translates properly? He's like my Ask Jeeves. That's before your time, like Google.
Doesn't Google do that? I thought Google did that.
Slayer's looking. He's on it.
Appreciate.
He's looking into it.
But yeah, I'm just so worried about like having one thing that like I don't want to offend anybody, you know?
Why?
Because like I want them to
question.
be able to read it, and I want them to be able to enjoy it, and like languages are so beautiful. Like I love, and my friend's Spanish, so like I probably could just hire her to like auto translate it.
I think it would be like something you could just like pay for, and it'll be ran through a software, and you can pick the
But
languages.
I would never know if it was right. What if they were writing something awful, or they had somebody
Let
like
me know
say
what
something?
Well, I know plenty of people who speak Spanish, and I will force them to listen to the book. And if they go, "Why is he, hitting her with a parakeet?" Then obviously we got to run it. We got to check it out.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it. And who gives a fuck if you offend anybody? Clearly, no matter what you do, you can offend somebody.
Absolutely.
You guys got married and offended people. So
Yeah.
who gives a fuck?
Real.
People have no business in your thought pattern. Okay, yeah. Slayer said, "I'm his Jamie." It's a Joe Rogan reference. Jew Rogan. Yeah, I'm excited for the rest of them to come out. I think you're hard on yourself because this one was very good.
Yeah.
And I think you hyped it up a lot. But the moment you started writing, like you said, I'm writing a book, and then like I felt like 3 weeks
Yeah, it
later,
was
you're like, I have my book,
literally-
and I'm published.
And that's how it was. It was crazy.
exactly how it
like
was.
literally, I think we had timed it. Well, I had timed it. I started on February 1st.
Okay.
Literally, because it was a Monday,
Mhm.
and that's when I work alone. And then that following week, I had worked on the cover. Like it was done that 7th, and then I was like, oh, I gotta do the cover. And then like on the 13th, it was like published like on Apple. Like I had to make an account that was pending. They had told me it would take like 7 to 10 business days.
It took one.
And then the Apple reader who reads it to make sure that there's nothing crazy in it or anything had like wrote a little note and was like, this is fantastic, published. And I was like, I'm sorry, you said 7 to 10 business days. Like I was like, what do you mean?
This is happening too fast.
And I think I like was running around the house and I was like, what do I do? I don't know what to do next.
You just
like,
get
somebody help
published.
me. And then I came to work the next day and I was like, I'm
published.
person. Look at me.
That's
Changed
legit.
my bio real fast. Changed my category. I was like, author.
Add it to the resume. Add it to the
Sorry.
resume. No, that's awesome. I've always wanted to write a book. I don't know what I'd write about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Biography.
No, I don't know what statute of limitations is. So I don't. Maybe.
enough.
Maybe.
That's why you write in fiction.
Yeah, fiction. Should I be worried?
Whoa, yeah, whoa. Why'd you
Should
put
I be?
that?
It says the guy who's got to sleep next to you.
I don't have enough money to buy a house on the lake. I'll tell you that.
Slayer said, Deep L Translator has great reviews for high quality translation of books.
Deep L Translator.
Deep L Translator. Thank you, Slayer.
I will look that up later.
Yeah, I appreciate it. He's the best. And you were saying like you've met some really great people through your social media and all that, and that's how me and Slayer met. I've not physically met him, but he's been paramount to my
the best types of
development in
people.
this.
Is he catfishing you?
They're the best.
No,
friends.
I've had actual
Slayer's
like
a
he's been on
catfish.
my show. I've had him superimposed onto the couch and and I've been in his show. Him and his wife have a podcast, and he has a podcast with one of his Marine buddies. 2 Jars and Second Menopause podcast. So he's a busy guy. He's pretty much building a team of internet goons, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Yeah.
Nice.
But I have friends from Arkansas whom I've never met in person, and they're like diehard best friends.
Real.
Haha, catfish, more like wailing with me.
Oh.
No.
You're in great shape, Slayer.
I
Stop
feel like
it.
that's a great thing about the world that we live in now.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many authors that I've met. I just sent my first Writers Do ARC readers, where, like, you offer readers free copies of your book, like, digital, and they read it and they'll review it before you do it, or they'll be like, hey, I didn't really understand this, before you actually submit it and publish it. I just sent my first one to the Philippines. That was really exciting.
Nice.
Yeah. She's been, like, sending me selfies with it. I'm like, oh, we're doing it in the Philippines.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Worldwide.
I have 2 viewers in India.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
every one of my shorts has at least 1 or 2 views from India. I don't know. I
There's
don't know.
that one
how do you
person.
I don't know if
find
he's
us?
setting up a scam call, or I don't know if he's actually a fan. But yeah, I've had people from France in here. But yeah, I have buddies in Arkansas. 2 of them, they're best friends. One, ironically, also named Dustin, and the other's name is Ryan. But funny part is they were friends, and I'm older than both of them. So he's Dustin, and I'm my gamer tag. So it's Totem. So yeah, I've literally entrusted them with debit card information. We ran an entire dinosaur syndicate on Ark Survival Evolved.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was pretty sweet, and I trust those guys. I'm gonna be going to his wedding at some point.
That's
Nice,
pretty
nice.
cool.
Have you put your book in the ring of any club reviews?
I have, yeah. There was actually a bookstore in Pittman, New Jersey that I emailed her to see if she'd put it on our shelves, and they do a thriller book club once a month.
Nice.
And then I've done a few on, like, through threads and stuff of, like, book clubs that are across the United States that I've been like, hey, try me.
Nice. I sent your book to my stepmother. She's big into reading, and she likes the horror genre as well. So hopefully she can get it into her. I think they have like 10 people in her book club. So we'll see.
Great.
Let's do
Nice.
it. Every little bit helps. You know what I mean?
My friend Maddie, she had it in her kitchen where she was reading it, and her mom is also into thrillers, and her mom had grabbed it, and she like texted me, and she was like, do you have an extra copy? My mom won't give it back.
Oh, you already sent it to Anna. Thanks, bro. Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy the community that you deal with. I know right now Amazon is getting boycotted, which, like, fine, whatever.
Are they?
Yeah.
Why?
Big old companies.
Prices, they raise their prices for, like, their subscriptions. Kindle Unlimited is a great thing, so, like, I get paid per page read on Kindle. But they raise their prices from, like, I think like $5.99 to $11.99, which is very hurtful. I understand, but you get like thousands of books for free, so I kind of feel like $12. Like, you're not going to a bookstore for $12 and getting thousands.
Barnes
of
and
books.
Noble, $12 ain't getting you shit. It won't even get you Starbucks.
But you'll definitely, like, I've definitely seen the decline since the boycott started, and there's a lot of indie authors that are like, hey, like, we get it, but, like, this is how, like, we can't go through Barnes and Noble. Like, we can't go to, most bookstores won't stock us because we don't have credible sales. Like, we get it, but please keep in mind,
I
like,
think you just need a salesman.
yeah.
I won't take any commission.
Or a billboard.
Or Billboard.
Billboard,
real.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well played. There you go, Slay. Can you get us some Billboard quotes while you're at it? Thank you, Jamie. That's awesome. I think you got a lot of promise in this field, and I think you're gonna.
Yeah.
I think you should keep
Which
doing
is
it.
crazy. It's crazy to have to be like, oh, I wanted to be a writer, and then, like, although there are times where, like, words, like, in my daily life, like, I feel like I've, like, now that I've written this, I'm like, text, I'm like, I look at my social media and I'm like, you wouldn't know that I was a writer from the way that I like misspelled and degrammared that sentence.
That's why spell check is beautiful. You think I email customers and I'm not there's not 16 red lines for me to
Red
click
dots,
on
yep.
one at a time.
But that's why they make programs. I run it through. I'm like checking, double checking.
Check my grammar, make sure there's punctuation,
Yeah,
all that stuff.
Grammarly, thank you.
But that's pretty cool. You don't see many young people aspiring for, I guess you would call this like old entertainment.
Real.
Yeah.
In all reality, you would call this like old school entertainment. You know, it's like ball and cup shit.
Yeah,
it's, like,
yeah.
It's ball in a cup. But it's really cool to watch. I've seen several people go down this road, and it's very rewarding. And you have proof of your creativity right here.
Yes.
These are your thoughts on pages that
And
people
I'll
are.
be on Netflix.
Let's go. Let's go. You
I'm
say
hoping
it.
by 2030,
Let's
hopefully
manifest.
sooner.
Be on
Manifest.
Netflix by the you said the 23rd by the 23rd
2030.
by 2030. What?
Ooh, 2030.
2030.
By 2030.
You're in like year 20,000.
I'm living in the Matrix.
Yeah,
You said the Matrix
scary.
earlier. I'm living in the Matrix.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
250 to 15,000 range for all of Jersey.
That's crazy.
At a billboard? 15 grand for all of Jersey? That's actually pretty lit.
That is crazy.
Sounds like
that's
I'm
the whole
gonna
state.
draw a thing on a sign and stick it in the road.
But it would only be profitable in your area. Everybody else around here is looking down at their goddamn phone and crashing into stuff while they're driving.
While
You're
speeding.
supposed to do it in high traffic or like actual traffic areas because people just sit, right?
I guess. I don't know.
Although I'll be
That much more
Pokemon going.
expensive. That much more
I'll
expensive.
have to look into
Pokemon Go.
billboard marketing.
On the way to AC, you know all those like, do you have a gambling problem?
Yeah,
Do
they
you
make
want to read a
money.
book?
Is there any other works and stuff that you want to plug or any other stuff you want to talk about?
I don't really have anything specific. I wasn't really like had an expectation on how it was gonna go. I've just
Fair
been-
enough.
Do you want to drop your social media?
Oh yeah, it's Shaye_Wick SHAYE.
And you can find and you're on TikTok. Are we on Instagram too?
TikTok, Instagram. I'm not on YouTube, and I'm not on Twitter.
Why not?
I don't
Twitter I
deal
get.
with
Why
that.
not YouTube?
I don't really make video content.
Fair
like
enough.
myself, he does. I don't.
Okay.
So like I can't really post pictures on YouTube.
Fair enough.
But maybe if I do audiobooks, I'll put like a little like rain in the background with me like, reading my book.
Yeah, with
Or-
the thunderstorms.
Or
in the
hear
back.
me out. You can actually take like chapters of this, take all the digital text and run it through AI and have it do like an audio
Are
speak.
you talking about the Subway Surfer videos on TikTok?
Not the fuck
That's
the
what I
Subway.
said. I said the Subway Surfer.
Fuck
videos.
Subway Surfer. I'm
Yeah.
talking. Actually, the ones that focus me the most are like the people like bending metal or whatever. But I was
something
saying,
else in the background.
yeah, but or if you wanted to do
The
like somebody to
sleep
do like
buddy.
a
The
cartoon.
slime.
Yeah, yeah. You did like all the satisfying things, so they're like, I'm hearing this.
So good.
Sorry for the lateness, boss. Nah, it's all right. I forgive you.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I could do some like whisper ASMR of reading it. Like
Once you start recording those, like, once you start recording the audiobook, it's Spotify, it's SoundCloud, it's everything else on top of that too. So,
stress.
yeah.
No stress.
I have all stress.
No stress.
Hi.
Because let me ask you this, and be honest. How much did it take you to produce?
Free. Yeah.
So what do you have to lose?
Fair enough.
Literally fucking nothing.
I had to think about it. I was like,
Literally
well,
fucking
maybe
nothing.
my Canva subscription. So like maybe $10.
She's looking for something to lose.
I was looking for.
She's looking for.
My
Don't you
$10.
make that? You make that $10 up if
I
you
made
sell
it.
2 or 3 books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all good. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where no matter what you do, it's not like you're dumping life savings into.
Yeah, it's not like I know there's some authors like that do ads and stuff, which crazy, and they spend like thousands of dollars on ads, and I'm like, I just feel like it takes one video. Like I'm okay. I'll just
Yeah.
focus on like my one video that might go viral.
There you go.
But I did buy little mics for our cats because I wanted to do cat ASMR.
Cat ASMR,
Yeah,
Yeah, where you're
like
hearing
them
purring
eating their
stuff.
treats and stuff.
depending on static, digital, and how populated. Oh, sorry. The author next door to me does the little signs all over town, like the vote for signs.
Yes, realtor signs.
And that's like 250 to 15,000 ranging around New Jersey. So you could put your like little buy my book signs, and then depending on static, digital, and how populated it is.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
I
Thanks,
realize
buddy.
you
I
gotta pay for
appreciate it.
that. I can't just stick it in people's lawns.
No, but you ask them. Be like, hey, I'm a new author.
Please.
Can I put this on your lawn?
Yeah. Here's a copy. You know what I'm saying? All right. So Shaye_Wick on TikTok and Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Anything else you want to talk about? We could do aliens, conspiracies, or we're just ended on the book.
I don't believe in them.
You don't believe in aliens?
Yeah, I do. But they're all mermaids.
I feel like you changed your mind. I feel like you changed your mind mid my reaction.
I didn't want that to be my thing. I do believe in aliens, but I believe that they're mermaids, and that's why we're not allowed to talk to dolphins.
I don't believe in Australia.
He
It was nice having you guys.
I think we will end there. Hold on. I don't believe in Australia.
Real.
I would like a little bit of explanation. Oh, where'd my mouse go? I fucked up. See, you're seeing all the stupidity happen. The stupidity.
I don't believe in Australia. I am not elaborating.
Come on. What are you doing?
I remember when I first met you, I thought that was a joke, and then I realized further on that it might not be.
It was a joke. It was a joke all the way up until I couldn't joke about it anymore. You can only convince so many people that you don't believe in Australia before somebody says that's bullshit.
You said it to 1.5 million people.
I guess nobody said it was bullshit.
Can I?
You can't say what I do and do.
I really did. I really wanted to just focus on the book, but now we're on this now. Prove it. Prove Australia doesn't exist.
I'm sorry. Prove Australia does exist.
Australians. I have a clip of an Australian.
You have a clip of an Australian? You have a picture of an Australian? Look, AI is huge right now. So pictures and videos don't prove anything. You mean to tell me a kangaroo is real? You mean to tell me that there's a spider this big? You mean to tell me that the koalas put their babies in their stomachs?
Koalas, do they originate from Australia?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm glad they do. That would have been embarrassing.
Crocodile Dundee.
And then before I understood how gravity worked, I thought people would fall off the earth. But once again, that was just before I understood how gravity worked.
That's a lie. You didn't believe that.
Right. See, there's only so many people I can convince that I don't really believe in Australia before it's like, all right, I can't make that joke anymore.
It's not a joke. He doesn't.
I'm like trying to write a bit in my head trying to prove that Australia doesn't work. We're going to work on that.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Take a picture of Australia. I'll just say it's not Australia. It's New England or something. I don't know.
The planes turn slightly. They just take all the
Didn't they say that the toilets flushed in the opposite direction on the other side of the world?
They do. On
They
the opposite
do?
side of the equator, they literally, I'm not joking, they literally do.
Is that a
Water
thing?
flows in the opposite direction. It absolutely does.
Opposite to us, but wouldn't it be like...
If you're standing directly on the equator, there's no spiral. It goes straight into the center.
Now you're fucking with me.
I'm not.
You're fucking with me.
I'm not.
Larry's taking advantage of my stupidity. I don't appreciate it. I could definitely clip this and make him look like he really doesn't believe in Australia.
Do it. I want to see that shit.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you.
That's the entire episode.
That would be the highlight.
Yeah, nothing about the book. Just I don't believe in Australia.
I don't believe in Australia, and this is
The
why.
next episode is trying to...
Please go on to Amazon or Apple and check out The Realtor. It is a horror, thriller, suspense novel, and it is a 1 of 3 series. Number 2 is definitely coming soon, and it's going to be great.
End of this month.
It's going to be great. Thank you guys so much for joining in. This has been Dust Off the Mic. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Peace.
I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice. These my motives, about my chicken and its rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the rip and we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition, they ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now. They all on me, got counterfeits trying to play me. I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and